Self-esteem is not just about glowing up, getting hot, changing your hair color. Although I did change my hair color and I am feeling much nicer about myself today, so thank you for noticing. But honestly, self-esteem is much more than that. It's very deep and psychological, and it's something that we have to discuss. My god, I have the sniffles. Alright. Man, that was reminiscent of something else. Anyways, okay. Phyllis, come here. Come here. Come here. Cyrus. Hello and welcome back to Sandra's Shelf. Today we have a little guest here. This is my cat, Silas. Anyways, you can't really see him. But yes, today I wanted to talk about something that's really important and near and dear to my heart as someone who suffered from low self-esteem, a lack of self-esteem. Okay, he can vouch for that. Since I was very, very young. So today what I would love to talk about is my 6 crucial steps to follow in order to build a stronger self-esteem. But before we get to there, let's talk about why do we even have low self-esteem to begin with. Oftentimes, low self-esteem results from childhood and adulthood trauma. It results from bullying. It can also result from neglect from loved ones such as parents, partners, siblings, you know, all kinds of people that could neglect you throughout your lifetime. It could also be because of breakups. Breakups are a really hard one. You could see all the time after a severe or major breakup, or, you know, the separation of two people, how people tend to lose themselves and they don't know who they used to be, and that mental and emotional strongness that they used to have when they were alone, they don't know how to get back to that. So that could also be a big one, especially if the relationship was somewhat toxic or somewhat, you know, all-consuming and very codependent. Then it could really be a struggle for that person to rebuild their self-esteem. Don't worry, I got you covered. I'm just listing some of the reasons. We also have rejection in many of its forms. So it could be academic, it could be social, it could be any type of rejection, you know, even to like something as small as, you know, you want to do your driver's license and you do your test and you get rejected. For some people it's not a big deal, but when you already are having low self-esteem, piling any kind of rejection is going to be too much for you. So that's one thing to consider as well. Or, you know, when you get rejected for something you really worked hard for and you really wanted, it's not easy, and not everyone deals well with rejection. I think it's a very human thing to feel really bad about rejection. So those are a few common ones that I've personally been through and I personally can spot. If you have any other reasons why you think people have low self-esteem, feel free to share them down below. But I just really wanted to talk quickly about low self-esteem before we go back to the steps on how to build back self-esteem. You are so spoiled. So why is self-esteem important? Self-esteem is important because it literally impacts every areas of our lives. It impacts your career, it impacts how you see yourself, it impacts your relationships, it impacts your relationship towards your goals, your aspirations, and towards your life, basically. And the reason for that is because self-esteem, coming from the self, is how we see ourselves and how we think of ourselves at the end of the day. And so having a good and healthy self-esteem is actually what allows you to make positive change in your life. It allows you to make decisions confidently for yourself, and it also limits your reliance on other people. Now, I'm not saying that it's not good to rely on other people, but people that have low self-esteem, they rely on other people to tell them what they think about themselves so that they can think that about themselves. So it's a very vicious cycle where you can't really live on your own, or you can't really, you know, pursue the things or believe in yourself because you're always wanting and seeking for for external validation. And external validation should be limited because no one should be told how to dress, how to talk, how to think, what to go for, what to study, what to, do for a career. No one should be told that. You are your own person, right? That's why it's very essential to build self-esteem, and it's very essential to recognize when you need to work on your self-esteem. Because low self-esteem, as I said, can be very detrimental to your life. And how is low self-esteem detrimental to your life? Because it holds you back. It holds you back in your relationship. It holds you back in your dreams and aspiration. You think you're undeserving. You think that you're not qualified. You think that, it's gonna go to someone else. You think that you shouldn't try anyways, etc. You're gonna be always left behind and put yourself behind because of your low self-esteem. Because at the end of the day, low self-esteem causes low self-confidence and low self-assertiveness. But you're in luck because you have me, and I will teach you the 7 steps that I took to build my self-esteem. My first step is to consciously interact with your inner critic. The chances are when you have low self-esteem, your inner critic is mean, okay? And it puts you down and it tells you stuff that you shouldn't believe, like you're not worthy, you're ugly, you're too big, you're too fat, you're too uneducated, you're not smart enough, you're not this, you're not that, you don't do this, you don't do that. And you gotta say, wait, listen, these are thoughts, these are my inner critic, and I'm gonna interact with it, okay? And I'm not gonna believe everything it tells me because it's trying to keep me stuck. It's trying to keep me low, and I wanna go higher up. I wanna build. So you gotta consciously interact with your inner critic so you can deconstruct the things that you have started believing about yourself. And now the other thing you have to do with your inner critic is that you have to face it with self-compassion. And self-compassion is really hard to engage in because we are taught in our society that we can always do better, be better, look better, feel better. Not to quote the American Psycho monologue, but it's really true. This is what our society is feeding us. You go on TikTok 1 second and someone's telling you hey, do you know that you should be losing another 5 kilos? Do you know you should be adding another 0 to your income? Do you know that you should be posting 10 times a day? And it's whoa, excuse me. No, I'm going to be self-compassionate with myself. I'm going to recognize my strengths and I'm going to recognize what I need to work on without having this really rude, tough love inner monologue and outer monologue that I don't need. That's not how you're going to change. I always thought to myself growing up that being hateful and really putting myself down is the only way that I'm gonna change. And the only times that I have improved my self-esteem, my life decisions and choices, such as feeling better, making more money, doing things that I would never normally do, is because I had self-compassion. It's because I said, hey, you there, I love you how you are, and I love you. I just want you to be happier and more confident in yourself, and I'm gonna help you. This is how you do self-compassion. And then another way, a practice for self-compassion and consciously interacting with your inner critic is journaling. Not me noticing that I had some eyeliner here. It's okay. It's very real. It's very on brand, and I'm not insecure about it. I don't care because it's such a small thing. You're supposed to be consuming the message, not consuming my face. So it's okay. Let's continue. Now, my second step is to ask others how they see you. Now, this could seem counterintuitive because I was just telling you that we shouldn't rely our self-esteem or our self-image on external validation. However, this is different because this is a conscious effort on your part to understand and see how your brain has warped your vision of yourself. So a few years ago, I've done this practice where I've asked people how they see me, and the results were good. Obviously, I'm sure there are some people that will take that time to talk about something you did wrong to them or whatever. That could happen. However, I'm talking about when you ask someone really how they see you, not their relationship towards you or their relationship with you. How they see you as an entity, as in how you present yourself, how you talk about yourself, the energy you transpire basically. So I did this exercise actually last week as well. I went on my Instagram and I DM'd a bunch of my friends or people that are in my close friends list, and I asked, what is one animal that you would describe me as? And you know what? The results were very interesting. And what I can conclude is that the results said that I was either smart, strong, or resilient. And those are really things that I actually believe in myself. And sometimes I have my own doubts and insecurities where I don't feel so strong, I don't feel so resilient, and I don't feel so smart at all. But those are normal. We all have insecurities. We all have self-doubt. However, we need to recognize when it's holding us back, when it's, destroying our self-esteem, and what we can do to actually believe and work on those things to actually build our self-esteem. So although I said that external validation is not the best thing, sometimes it's good to listen to how people actually see you and how they actually talk about you, because sometimes you put yourself down so much, but other people are intimidated by your light, by your potential. You're the one holding yourself back, and so you have to recognize that. You have to really interact and analyze that and see what is going on. How come everyone is telling me I'm smart, okay, or everyone thinks that I'm smart? Obviously they don't know my internal monologue, but how is it that everyone says this and I think every day when I wake up, oh, I'm so stupid? You know what I mean? Like, you really have to work through those thoughts. You have to work through your self-esteem. My third tip is to engage in self-esteem boosting activities. Now, for these activities, there are two kinds of self-esteem boosting activities. The first one is new activities. So I would recommend highly to pick up an activity that you've never done before. If it's learning a new instrument, if it's reading new books, or whatever it is, pick a hobby, a new one, completely new, and watch your self-esteem be built. The thing is, when you start with a new hobby, you have no expectations. You expect for you to be bad at it. So you could only improve from there. You can only learn from there. And this is what happens with children. Children learn their self-esteem by playing and engaging with different activities. And so you can, when you look at children, they don't get discouraged. Like, they might fail, they might not fit the Lego pieces together, but they keep on going and going and going. And that's actually what builds our self-esteem, is the act of persevering through failure, right? So there's a lot of research done between learning and self-esteem boosting activities. So if you want to read more of that, I'll leave a link down below from, I think it's the Healthline that I was looking at. And the second part is to do activities that literally boost your well-being. So the typical activities such as calling a loved one, going on walks, exercising, making a new meal from scratch, reading, journaling, meditating, anything that you do that will make you feel better on the long run and you consistently do. These self-esteem boosting activities are so important, and they help you focus on yourself. They help you focus on taking care of yourself, on valuing yourself, on challenging yourself, learning new things, which will boost your self-esteem. My fourth step is to stop hyper-focusing on your failures. The past is the past. You failed some things, you didn't accomplish some things. You literally need to get over it. Like, the past is good reference points to know what we've done wrong or what has prevented us from going forward. If you keep agonizing about your past, I know it's a harsh thing to say, you will never go forward, okay? There are ways to acknowledge the past without letting you overrule your entire life in the present moment and in your future self. I would literally recommend writing a letter to your past self and apologizing, forgiving, and then moving forward with your life. The only way through is forward, okay? If you don't want to be like your past self, then today is the day to take action. And the only thing you should compare yourself is from yesterday, and even then with limited criticism. You just have to evaluate yourself every day and make every day great as much as you can. Make every day your day. That's all that there is to it, okay? So stop hyper focusing on your past. You don't live there anymore, and you don't live in the future either. You live in the right now. My fifth step is to stop apologizing. When you consistently apologize to people for things that you haven't done wrong, for just simple things, and you're just like, sorry, I'm sorry, 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 I'm sorry, 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 oh, I'm sorry, oh, sorry, oh, sorry. You're literally apologizing for your existence, literally. Like, I'm saying this as someone who still consistently says sorry. The other day, my friend was texting me, he's like, oh, I had a massage, it wasn't really a good massage, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry you had a bad massage. He's like, why are you sorry? You're not the one who massaged me, you know? Like, and I'm like, wow, he's right. Why do I keep putting myself in the apologetic category, you know? Like, there's an exception, right? When you do something horrific and like horrible, not only that you need to give an apology, but you need to, like, you know, mean the apology, right? But on a day-to-day basis, when you don't do anything except for living and being human, you don't have to apologize for everything. It actually shows yourself and others around you that you value everyone else's opinions, everyone else's feelings, everyone else's thoughts above your own. And that is wrong. So instead of saying I'm sorry, you need to practice saying I understand and thank you. Thank you is one of the expressions that can replace the unnecessary I'm sorry, okay? So stop apologizing, be confident, be authentic, be yourself, obviously be kind, and be apologetic when you do something wrong, when you do really mess up, but don't say I'm sorry every day just for existing, okay? You are of value, you are necessary to this life, you're necessary to yourself. Don't say I'm sorry for no reason. You don't need to apologize for existing. And the last step is to stop comparing yourself to others. Honestly, I think most of us know that comparison is a thief of joy. It robs you of your happiness, it robs you of your struggles, it robs you from how far you've come in your own life, because you're comparing yourself to an image or to what you think you know about another person's life, okay? And it's not fair. We all have different advantages, we all have different struggles in life, and comparing yourself to anyone that's not yourself is an unfair comparison no matter what. Even when we compare books in literature, because I've done a lot of comparative works in my undergrad and in my master's, you still can't compare two things. You can compare, but they're not the same two things. It doesn't matter how far you compare. It doesn't matter how much intertext there is. It doesn't matter how many similarities and differences you find. You are unique. You owe your life to yourself. You owe that comparison to yourself, towards yourself. That is all. As much as I love social media, it's one of the biggest culprit, okay? You look at someone's reels and highlights reels, and you look at how they look, what they're doing for a living, you look at their income reports, probably if you're on TikTok and you're trying to grow a business, and either you feel discouraged, either you feel competitive, either you feel like you're never gonna get there. There's so many emotions and thoughts and messages that are being thrown at your freaking face that what are you gonna do but feel bad about yourself, okay? Either you're gonna feel motivated for the wrong reasons, or you're gonna feel bad about yourself. I'm not saying that sometimes it doesn't actually motivate you and it doesn't actually help and it doesn't actually show you a different way of living your life. That is all true, okay? But also, if you're not careful enough, you're gonna be in this downward spiral where you're gonna be like, I'm not good enough, I'm never gonna get there, I'm not like this person. Oh well, this person is having 100,000 followers because they're pretty, or because they're this, or because they're a man, or because they're articulate, or because they don't have an accent. You can't fall into that trap, okay? Because you are unique, you have things to offer to yourself and to the world. It doesn't matter what you think about yourself, it doesn't matter how many people you compare yourself to. So I don't want you to do that anymore moving forward, okay? You can acknowledge someone's existence in life and their highlight reel of their life, but you don't know anything. Social media is really the tip of the iceberg. How many people have I seen they tell me, you're so smart, you do so many things, you're this, you're that, you're whatever. And meanwhile, for me, I've always felt like I'm not doing enough, I'm not smart enough, right? But that's it. I'm not thinking of that anymore. I'm not thinking of myself that way anymore. I'm not comparing myself anymore. I am responsible for myself. I am responsible for my self-esteem. I am responsible to grow and to love and accept myself, and I don't need any of that noise. So my advice to you, if you're on social media, okay, consume it, but don't let it consume you. That's all. That's the end of the video. I hope you found these steps helpful. I really do hope that you get to build your self-esteem this year. I hope that you recognize how powerful, how beautiful, how strong, how smart, how intelligent, how kind you are. And yes, if you have any tips that you'd like to share down below, feel free to do so. Please remember to be kind to yourself and to others. I love you guys so much. Honestly, one of the biggest confidence booster and self-esteem booster for me was starting this channel and to listen to you guys and hear you guys talk and encourage me to continue going. I know I said no external validation, but it's really nice when other people can see the value that you see in yourself. But first, I saw the value in myself. I shared my stories, I shared my tips first and foremost. So that's what you have to keep working on putting the value in you and in yourself and on yourself first. I post new self-help and lifestyle videos every Thursday, so make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next shelf. Bye!